Hi, Shea here. If you don't know me, I'm a wife and mom of two, and I help entrepreneurial women master their mindset and build a successful online business without sacrificing time with their loved ones so they could live their dream life. And I want to talk to you today about National Authors Day, and I want to celebrate my top 5 favorite authors of all time. So I've always been an avid reader, a prolific reader, a voracious reader. I mean, I love to read specifically self-help books, romance books, paranormal romance books, sometimes biographies, autobiographies, but what I really love is romance. And so when I was beginning my entrepreneurial career, I was fumbling and stumbling and trying to figure out what it is that really was calling my name. And it was one of those things that, I started with direct sales, which I still love the company and the products, but that wasn't working for me because it's not suited to my personality, the things that I was being told to do, how to do, so on and so forth. Not saying it was impossible, saying that it was making me, that like my mindset was working against me, right? And so that was how I kind of found myself talking more about mindset, was because I was trying to work with my mindset and my personality to help my business. And it came to see that a lot of other entrepreneurs were having a lot of the similar issues that I was, that, every time something didn't go right, it would like knock me off my horse for a lot longer than I think it should have sometimes. Or every time, especially with direct sales, I would get a no, it would be like weeks before I was comfortable to reach back out to that person or to put myself out there. A lot of those things are really difficult for me. So that was when I fell into blogging, because I read somewhere that blogging, you could attract your perfect customer to you. So I fell into the blogging world and I really fell in love with the writing. And I always loved to write. I always loved to read. I didn't know I was going to enjoy writing weekly like I have been, but I have. And even in the beginning of my blog, it took me a little bit of time to figure out what my niche really was, who I was talking to, so on and so forth. And that was when I started also implementing, like I did a course, I did on everything that I was learning on how to attract your customer to you. And, all of these things, I was trying on a lot of different hats at that time. And then I finally think that the light bulb went off, that I could write my own book, because here I am reading all these other people's books about self-help and how to this and how to that. And I said, why don't I write my own book? So when I was trying to figure out what kind of book I was going to write, at first I thought it was going to be a self-help book, because I do like to talk about mindset and things like that. But it turned out that I really didn't want to do that. I didn't even sit down to get it started. It just didn't seem to, that wasn't going to happen. But I still do like to read those books. And so that's why today I'm going to tell you my top 5 favorite writers, and I'm going to celebrate them. And I hope that you enjoy this. And if you do find some value in this, please like this video, share it with somebody else, and be sure to subscribe for more. So I was mentioning that I was reading a lot of self-help books when I was trying to figure out what type of entrepreneurial journey I wanted to have for myself. And I wanted to stop getting so bogged down in the unnecessary sadness and frustration and anger. And, I was working against myself in the beginning a lot. But I also just had 2 babies at that point in time. I have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. So really, I just had those babies. So I had to be patient with myself as well. And so the first person I want to recommend to you, my probably favorite self-help author for sure of all time, is Gabby Bernstein. I listen to her every day. I listen to her podcast. I follow her on social media. She is also kind of the epitome of the type of model that I'm going after myself, which is that she is a self-help person, right? She has written many books. She has courses for writing books. She has, all these affiliate things that she does. She has, products that she creates herself and sells. She has all of those things working. And so now she is, I think, 15 or 16 years sober now too, so we just share a lot of similarities. So she is my number one because I want you to understand that in her journey, it wasn't perfect either. My journey's not perfect. Yours isn't going to be perfect. She talks a lot about that. She's very open about these things. And her self-help books are phenomenal. She has a new one coming out. It is called Happy Days. And so if you want to go get that, go get it now, because she's running a promo until February, I believe, of 2022. So I don't know when you're watching this, but February 2022 is going to be the cutoff. When you buy her book, you're going to go to her website, which I'm going to try to put the link below. And then you're going to put in your order number and you're going to get a free ticket to some live event that she'll be hosting. So that is going to be, if you buy the book, you get the free ticket to the event. So that is awesome. And a lot of what she talks about is spirit guides, angels, guardian angels. She talks about the universe, the law of attraction, manifestation. She talks about yogi stuff and all of those things that I love. I think they're very interesting. So I haven't read this book yet. I'm kind of promoting her new book for you and for her because I think that it is going to be amazing. You can buy the book right now. I have not read it yet, but I have read most of her other books. So if you want to read some of her other books, I'll include links in the post that will be at the bottom here. Love Gabby Bernstein. She's probably my favorite self-help author. The second favorite self-help author is someone that I was introduced to years and years and years ago by a wonderful couple that I worked, that went to my place of work, I should say. And it's Dr. Wayne Dyer. So when I was listening to Gabby, she was always talking about Dr. Wayne Dyer. And she even has this wonderful story of how she attended one of his live events. And during that live event, he had her very first book that she published. And he talked about her on stage and what amazing things she was going to do and that she was going places. And it was an amazing feeling for her, an amazing moment for her in her life. And so that is just something that is possible if you decide to become an author yourself, is you know, getting to this point of fame and fortune, right? And just ease, I guess. Money doesn't bring ease, but it doesn't have to be difficult. That's what I mean. And Dr. Wayne Dyer talks about a lot of those things. He talks about, in his book, Excuses Be Gone, it talks about all of the excuses you tell yourself. You can't do this, you can't do that, you shouldn't do this, this is going to happen if you try to do this, so on and so forth. But I want to talk to you today about his book, Erroneous Zones. This is the book that I was given years and years ago that I still have not read. But it talks about changing your negative thinking. So that is my second favorite self-help book author. And then the third favorite author that I have of all time is, of course, J.K. Rowling. And that's another funny one because it took me a long time to finally read Harry Potter books. I believe I was pregnant with my son, my firstborn, when I read all of Harry Potter, and I read it all pretty quickly. And it is amazing. And again, it's one of those excuses be gone things. Sometimes you think you're going to have to work so hard for so long and you're never going to amount to anything. At least I had that problem where even Gabby Bernstein encourages you to not look at what could go wrong, but what could go right. J.K. Rowling wrote one series of books, the Harry Potter series. And I mean, she doesn't have to work another day in her life, but she does still work. She just published a book, The Christmas Pig. So now, again, I haven't read that, but it's a kid's book, obviously, and I'm interested in getting it for my kids. And, you know, now that I'm an author myself, taking notes of what these other authors are doing. And, you know, she's collaborating a lot with other people. You know, who knows if this is like her work 100% or just collaboration, or, you know, how do these publicity things work? I guess I'd find out once I'm a millionaire myself. But she is an inspiration to me. She talks often about how when she wrote her Harry Potter books, she was probably the poorest you could be, she said, in England, I believe it was, the UK, and she was living on welfare. And when Harry Potter took off the way that it did, I mean, talk about a miracle moment in your life. All miracle moments here. So now my fourth favorite author is, of course, I'm sorry, I just said I do that a lot with J.K. Rowling. George R.R. Martin. It's the initials that get me. George R.R. Martin, which is, of course, Game of Thrones. If you have not read Game of Thrones, seriously, please, please, please go read that. I mean, if it's at all in your realm of reading. I mean, it's not even a romance. It's not even a history. It's just a fantasy series. But I love the Middle Ages. It's based mostly in the Middle Ages, but with lots of fantasy. Dragons and monsters and magic involved, which I love all of that. My trouble is, of course, the series, the HBO series. It just, especially the last season, didn't quite satisfy me the way that I wish that it did. I'm still waiting, George R.R. Martin, on your last book of the series, the one that you actually wrote, that's actually what you envisioned for this series. But until that point in time, you can go read the prequel, which is all about the Targaryens, and it is called Fire and Blood. And I have that, and I still haven't read it. All these books are books that I have not read yet, but I'm talking about my favorite authors because, well, I guess I'll leave that till the end. But fifth and final favorite author is none other than Patricia Briggs. Now, she's kind of a lesser known, I guess, author. I don't know how well she's known. I know she doesn't have an HBO series yet, or Showtime series like Outlander, which I can't remember her name at the very moment. But Patricia Briggs, I've read like all of her books, and I've read all of her books really quickly too. And she's just phenomenal. I just love it. She's quick-witted. She has lots of humor. It's lots of fun. It's lots of magic. It's werewolves and vampires and fairies and all of those wonderful things. And she does it in a really fun way. And she's kind of the model I'm hoping to attain, because not because I don't think I could reach the renown of J.K. Rowling or George R.R. Martin. She loves to do it. I think that that's the difference. It's the love of the writing, you know, and I think that at the end of the day can be a lot more satisfying than hitting it big once, right? It's the thrill of it all. And so I love her books. I think she's phenomenal. And what's funny, and this is what I'm going to get to at the end of the day, all of these authors write all of these books, and I want them to all serve as an inspiration for you as well, that this is something that if it's on your heart, you can achieve and you can do as well. Because these people started with nothing, with one book that maybe didn't even hit it big, the one book, but then they kept writing and they kept writing and they kept writing, and it became their career. And it's funny because it was something that was right in front of my face for so long, because I've read so many books and I never once considered becoming an author myself. And now that I have, I'm super glad that I did. And I'm excited to see where my career goes. And if you are interested in grabbing my book, Firelies, you can grab it in the link below. And I would love it if you grabbed a copy. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Apple Books and other retailers. And leave a review. And I'm writing my second book already now, Dragonflies, which I'm not sure exactly when it will be released, but I'm nearly finished with it. So keep your eye out for that and follow me for more. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my top 5 favorite authors of all time and a little bit about them. And let me know below, what's your favorite author? Because I'm always looking for more authors to read, more books to read, more authors to follow. And tell me if you read any of these, who was your favorite out of this list of 5. So thank you for watching, and happy National Authors Day. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.